if it was a staff infection. I think it was another circumstance.
He had a set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Let me read you from his agent. His agent released a statement. Justin Holland is Anthony Edwards' agent. He released a statement that said, "For me personally, I'm a bit confused at the clemency for Cade, who missed time for something that happened on the court, and not Ant, who missed time for an infection. But ultimately, you already know Ant isn't tripping over it at all. He was mad he didn't get to 62, not because he missed out on awards. He was mad because it meant he didn't get to play in all 82, which is what he always tries to do for his teammates and fans. You know the only thing he wants is a ring." Candidly, that's a great statement.
That's an outstanding statement. It is, and I think it's important that the rule is put in place not to be punitive, but to incentivize. And if you wind up being punitive towards Cade and Luka, it takes away the spirit of the rule. They don't want it to be so that you can't have awards. Right. They want it to be so that you can play in nationally televised games so fans can get their money's worth. Yeah. And so that's why you have appeals process. I have no problem with it. Okay, so those decisions made yesterday. Now the big decisions start getting made tonight and tomorrow. Let's look at Saturday's slate of games for the first round of the NBA playoffs, that magnificent first day where all these games are in action. 1 Eastern, Raptors, Cavaliers. That's followed by the T-Wolves and Nuggets, a great series. Hawks and Knicks here at the Garden. And then the day will end with a huge matchup out west. The 5-seed Rockets, LeBron and the Lakers, 8:30 Eastern on ABC. So, Vince Goodwill, I gave you a homework assignment. I said, give me the 3 keys for the Knicks to advance out of the series with Atlanta.
Let's do it.
Show up. I mean,
show up. That's not enough.
I know. I wasn't great at homework, Greeny. I was great showing up the day of the test. Okay. The 3 keys are, for one, Karl Anthony Towns. Yep. They have to feature him in this series because of the way that the Hawks play defensively. He's going to get a lot of open shots.
Iman Shumpert just gave the most honest reaction to the NBA's 65-game rule controversy. He said he has mixed feelings. And that's the perfect way to describe this mess. Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham are now eligible for end-of-season awards. Anthony Edwards was denied. And Shumpert understands why both sides are upset. Let me break down exactly what happened. Vianney Goodwill explained that the league viewed Cade Cunningham's collapsed lung not as an injury but as a circumstance. They tracked only 5 instances of this in NBA history. Plus, Cade came back early, showing initiative to play. For Luka, he missed games to be with his girlfriend for the birth of his child overseas. Once again, circumstances. The league did not contest either appeal. They said, yes, we are good with it. But Anthony Edwards? He missed time with an infection. He was in and out of games in the last week of the season. And here's the key difference. Vianney Goodwill said Edwards and his people did not let the league know they would be applying for this extraordinary circumstance situation. He wound up missing 3 of the last 4 games. That took him out of it. Mike Greenberg then made the common sense argument. He said, the 65-game rule is in place for a reason. It's designed to prevent resting and load management. It is not designed to penalize a player who suffered a collapsed lung on the court or to keep a player from being with his wife when she's having a baby. We just applied some all common sense to the situation. Then Shumpert stepped in. He said, I have mixed feelings about it. If you have a rule, you have to set it. Otherwise, I want in on it too. I get that mentality. But then he added something important. He said, I love the fact that the NBA is staying consistent with promoting us as fathers. Luka going out there for the birth of his child, that's something the NBA always promotes. Fatherhood is an ongoing theme in the league. I understand them respecting that. I understand them respecting Cade's injury. But then Shumpert pivoted. He said, I also understand the salty feelings of an Anthony Edwards. He got hurt on court, doing his job. And it's unfortunate. I understand the rules are for tanking and load management, but this is integrity of the game and the safety of the players. You walk up to this line now and feel like, well, if that guy got to cross, why not me? Anthony Edwards' agent, Justin Holland, released a statement that Vianney Goodwill read on air. He said, for me personally, I'm a bit confused at the clemency for Cade who missed time for something that happened on the court and who missed time for an infection. But ultimately, you already know and isn't tripping over it at all. He was mad he didn't get to play in all 82, which is what he always tries to do for his teammates and his fans. You know the only thing he wants is a ring. Greenberg called that a great statement. And he's right. Anthony Edwards isn't complaining about the money. He's not complaining about the awards. He's upset because he wanted to play. He wanted to be there for his teammates. That's the kind of competitor you want. But here's the part that Mike Greenberg didn't address, and it's the most important part. Chris Canty, who was also on the show, went nuclear on the whole situation. He said, if you don't want to enforce the 65-game rule, then don't have the rule. Because right now, there's so much ambiguity, so much gray area. It's going to be impossible for the NBA to have any consistency without clear stipulations outlining the exceptions. This is completely in the eye of the beholder. Canty also pointed out something that nobody else mentioned. Luka Doncic got suspended for one game this season because he had 16 technical fouls. If he had played that game, he would have hit 65 games and been eligible without an appeal. Canty said, there's a part of this that was within his control where he didn't exercise some restraint, and it ended up costing him. If you make a mistake, it could cost you a lot of money. Luka made a mistake with all of his complaining to the refs, getting technical fouls. That ultimately cost him a game. And that game was the game that he needed to qualify. It is disgusting to me that the NBA has a rule and they won't enforce the rule. That's the part that stings. Luka's situation was partially his own fault. He couldn't keep his cool. He got 16 technicals. And the NBA still gave him a pass. But Anthony Edwards, who had an infection, gets denied. Where is the logic? Where is the consistency? Now, I want to be clear. I'm not against the exceptions. The birth of a child is a legitimate reason to miss games. A collapsed lung is a legitimate reason to miss games. But so is an infection. So why was one approved and the other denied? Because the league has no clear guidelines. They're making it up as they go. And that's not fair to anyone. Schumpert said it best. He has mixed feelings. On one hand, he loves that the NBA respects fatherhood and serious injuries. On the other hand, he understands why Anthony Edwards feels salty. And if the NBA doesn't fix this, every year we are going to have appeals. Every year someone is going to feel cheated. And every year we are going to be having this same debate. All right, let me wrap this up with some questions for you. Drop your takes in the comments. 1. Should Anthony Edwards have been granted the same exception as Luka and Cade? 2. Is Chris Canty right that the NBA should either enforce the 65-game rule strictly or get rid of it entirely? 3. Does Luka getting suspended for 16 technicals change your opinion on whether he deserved the exception? 4. Who is the real MVP this season? SGA, Jokic, or someone else? I'll read the best comments in the next video. Smash like if you think Ant got screwed. Hit subscribe if you